What's up everyone, back today with another build. Really excited about this one as we're using some pretty high-end parts. We have the ASUS Astral 5090. We are going with the 9950X 3D chip for the ultimate gaming and productivity kind of dual purpose performance. And we're also using 64 gigabytes of DDR5 RAM. To cool all of this, we're going to be using a custom loop, which can be very therapeutic, we'll call it. Mother you son of a oh, f you. So this is actually going to be a third iteration of this build, which started a little over a year ago. So most of these parts were purchased a year ago. We'll go over what the pricing difference is now if you were to build this today. It was a really clean build. The tubing runs were great. Had enough radiators to keep it nice and cool, but it was a little bit too much Bane from the 1997 Batman and Robin movie. And we're going for something a little bit more elegant. Attempt 2 was in a Fractal North case, and we just ran into a couple issues there. We had our motherboard go out. That's currently under RMA. That got sent back. And we had a pump leak. We had a couple other issues pop up and decided to do away with that and take a little break on water cooling because it was kind of a frustrating experience. But we are back today, putting it all back together. The case we are going with today is the Antec C8 wood curve. So we got a nice wood accent here on the front, and then we got that fully curved glass panel. I thought this was a nice, fix my table here. I thought this was a good compromise between our two previous builds. First one was in an 011 Vision, so you still kind of have that same idea going on, and then we kind of have the wood accent, something a little bit more elegant going on, like the Fractal North, which was a XL that we tried. Get the table situated here. So I already have this screw out, so we'll pull this glass off. As you can see, it comes in one nice big piece here. This actually comes with, you'll see the warning here, a, what's it say, tempered glass with explosive proof film. So this film is on here. Mine was kind of peeling up in the corner already, but I did do a little research on that, and you do not want to pull this film off. It is meant to stay on here, so it does not come with any protective film, and you don't get that satisfying peel that you usually would with other cases. So just a quick overview of a couple parts that were bought last year, like I said, but these are kind of the big hitters that have changed quite a bit in price. Starting with our DDR5, this is the G.Skill Trident Z5 Royal. This is 64 gigs of DDR5. I remember being super nervous about buying this because I wanted to upgrade to 64 gigabytes, which looking back on it, I probably really don't need that much in my workflow. And the other one is a Samsung 990 Pro. This one's actually a 4 terabyte. The Crucial is only a 1 terabyte, but this 4 terabyte, I think this one is increased by 300 or something odd percent, crazy like that. And then the 5090 Astral. This one was kind of a lucky grab when the 5090s had that paper launch and came out. I was able to grab one of these at the base MSRP, which we only saw for like the first couple weeks after launch, which was, I think it was $27.99 is what I got this for. I'll try to do some research and throw it up on the screen here for what they're going now, but I looked earlier, I couldn't even find Astrals for sale, or if they were starting at like $4,500. So again, I'll put those prices up just for some more accuracy, so you can see that between these three items, sitting on a lot of equity here, and pretty fortunate having bought these last year. So we're going with the ASRock X870E Taichi. This one has some nice gold accents to it. Man, it is a beefy, this thing's heavy. We'll get this taken out and start popping all of our parts in it here. So on an X870E motherboard, you're gonna have plenty of lanes, so you won't have to worry too much about lane sharing, especially running 3 drives like we are today. We wanna make sure we take full advantage of that PCI slot for the GPU being 5.0. And we're also gonna just have plenty of options for plugging in, plenty of ports on the back that'll support our USB-C, plenty of USB-A ports. I think this is a 5 gigabit LAN port. Really gives you everything you could need for a high-end build like this one. We have our motherboard all prepped, so we will get that installed in our case here. And I just wanted to give a quick rundown of all of the water cooling components that we're going to have going in. So like I mentioned, we're going to do 3 360s, 2 of our standards here, and then we're going to have 1 thick boy going in there. I think it's going to go up top, but we'll see where it fits best once we start building. EK Quantum kinetic pump. This is just like a 200 or 140 millimeter pump that'll fit where that back fan will go. Fits just like a fan, 140 millimeter fan would in the back there. So kind of be set aside and at a great spot for supplying our loop with the coolant. And for our blocks, for our CPU block, we have the Thermal Grizzly Mycro Pro. So they have had a direct die version of this, and they just came out with this that can go straight onto your CPU right out of the box. You don't have to worry about delitting or anything like that. Probably won't see as good at temperatures, but excited to get this in and try it out. And then for our GPU, initially a year ago, we went with the EK block, the Vector 3, I believe it is. And we just went with this one because it was what was most readily available. But since then, Thermal Grizzly came out with their DeltaMate. So excited to see what kind of temperature differences we see with this one. For fans today, we're going with the Lian Li Unifan TL wireless 120s. I had to pick up another set of these because the original case this build had was just glass up top. So now that we're going to have some exhaust up here, we'll throw another set of those. So we'll have some reverse blade intaking from the bottom, these ones exhausting through the top, and on the back here we are going to have the LCD version of these fans to show some GIFs or pictures or GPU temps, whatever we want. So when you're installing here and you want to take advantage of this back space for your radiator for it to hide away, all you have to do is line your radiator up, put a screw through your fans right into it, and that'll hold it in place. You don't have to attach your fans to the radiator and then run screws through the back. It saves you a little bit of time and some screws. Fans and radiators are in. This top one's still not quite fully fastened. Just want to make sure we have good clearance for our pump that's going to go here. Get this slid in. Looks like we got room for this to move back and forth if needed. Need room to run our plug over. Well, we had to remove radiators a couple times, do some things. Pro tip, on your radiator that's going to be tight on the bottom here, make sure you install your fittings prior to putting the fans on. Makes it a lot easier. So we went and got fittings on there, and then we have our drain coming off on a 90 as well, fitting it there nicely. Now at this point we will run some of our cables here. This is a grade B DeltaMate from Thermal Grizzly. It's supposed to have some blemishes, but from my inspection, I mean, it looks as good as I would expect it to. So very satisfied with that purchase, and a little bit reduction in size using a block here. Our main component before starting our tubing runs and all that is our PSU. So we're going with the Lian Li. This is the Edge 1300 Platinum. So this is actually a really ideal case for running an Edge power supply. So it just kind of sits up on this shelf up here. Then you have easy access to plug everything in right there. Plus you have a USB device hub on it built in. So I did run this wire onto our motherboard panel. And this is really helpful when you're running a bunch of these wireless fans, because every single group of fans is going to have a USB header. All right, all of our main components are in. We are fully cable managed. You can see we already have some lights on, so that's a good sign. I'm gonna do an initial test boot here just to see if we can get into BIOS, make sure all of our components are reading correctly. Obviously we don't have any cooling right now, so we don't wanna do this for too long, but we got a fan out there. So we don't want to do this for too long because we don't want our components to get hot. I just want to make sure we can get into BIOS, see everything, then we'll shut it down and start our loop. It's easier to do this now because if you run all your custom tubing, especially with hard tubing, and then you boot up and something's not working, it can be a pain in the butt to take everything back apart and go take another look. We didn't get anything popping up on screen yet, but I did hit the CMOS reset with the drives that are in there that have stuff on them. It might be getting confused without finding a boot drive, so I'll give it a second here. We did not get a boot fully yet. I want to see if it's something with the GPU with that riser cable or something. So I tried plugging it into just the motherboard and running it through the integrated graphics of the CPU, but I think it was starting to get too hot, so it was not booting all the way. So we're just going to fill a little bit of distilled water in there and see if we can't get us a successful boot here. So we did get a boot through integrated graphics. We were cool enough, and now this is the second run running through the GPU. I think just had to do some training and all that kind of thing, but checked everything out and everything looked good, so we're good to start running our tubing. So our PC boots, all we have left is to run our tubing, run our fittings. I'll probably just throw some headphones in and grind through this part, maybe do a little time lapse on the video here, but I'm not going to do a full tutorial or anything on this. So let's get this knocked out and see what our final PC looks like.
7 hours later.
All right, it is almost 1 o'clock in the morning on a Thursday night, but we have finished the tubing. I think it looks pretty good, pretty satisfied with most of the runs here. Gonna put it on air overnight and make sure we are holding. While attempting to put it on air here, I did hear some leaking. Checked out this 90 and it was leaking pretty good out of there, so I had to do a little diagnostics and tighten that up a little bit. Okay, so on this fitting, we just took both sides off, stabbed the tubing in on each side and tightened it outside, and then did each end in, and that seemed to make it a little bit tighter, and it's holding better now. So we are into our overnight test. We are sitting right at just over half a bar. So we'll leave that for tonight and see what it looks like in the morning. It is the next morning, and we are still sitting rock solid at half a bar. So I think our little fix there worked. Go ahead and bleed off the system. I would say that's good enough for an air test. It's higher pressure than you're probably ever going to see once there's liquid running through your loop. But now we will get our loop, start filling it with coolant. At this point, we're going to unplug our motherboard, make sure we don't have anything powered up just in case we do get any leaks last minute here. And we'll run just the pump, circulating fluid, no PC power for, I usually like to do 24 hours. That might be overkill, so we'll see how far we go here. Full of fluid. Let's we already kind of set some lights, but let's see a boot here. Onto our CPU stress test after 24 minutes here on OCCT. We are sitting right under 65 degrees Celsius. Not as cool as some custom loops can be, but way under spec for the CPU, so pretty satisfied with these results. For our GPU stress test, we are sitting almost coming up on 10 minutes here, still sitting under 60 degrees. So for a card pulling almost 550 watts for that long, I'd say that's pretty dang good. This thing is idling in the 30s, so very satisfied with how cool our GPU is staying. Shouldn't be dealing with any thermal throttling or anything like that. Finally, let's get into some gaming and see how this beast performs. Here in Resident Evil 9, we are going to dive into some gameplay here at 4K with some ray tracing. I'm going to go on to quality. And right here we're getting right around 140 FPS. It's a really good looking game.
Why am I even here?
Back at the main menu, we're going to load back in, turn path tracing on, and see how much we can actually stress this GPU.
So, what happened with the missus?
Oh man, she was pissed. She
This is kind of showing how demanding path tracing can be, but even with a high-end GPU, we're not even breaking 100 FPS, but the fidelity, I mean, it looks really good in game. So if that's what you choose to play on, you have that choice.
Why am I even here?
It's always comfortable. This isn't one of the...
Sounds better than anything I can make.
Switch over to some FPS games. Obviously, if you want the best performance, you're probably not going to want to play at 4K resolution, but I just wanted to see what this GPU would do.
Watch their six.
Finishes out with some Call of Duty gameplay here. If you liked what you saw, please give us a like and sub. Really trying to grow this channel, grow this community so we can start doing fun things like PC giveaways and other fun things. And comment down below what other builds do you want to see, what other content around tech and PCs do you want to see, and we'd love to start making that. So thank you for watching today, and we'll see you all in the next one.
Good kill. Marking the rest of that squad on your tac map. Get hunting.
Reloading.